way the brain works, it wants to latch onto things that are true, that make sense. So I am speaking to Joe and Christina. True. I hear the sound of my voice. True. I'm speaking about aligned affirmations. True. I speak confidently and powerfully. So my brain's gonna be like, okay, that's true. Death smiles at us all. All a man can do is smile back.
Do you think people need to seek the external to come to that revelation of, wow, this isn't it? Or do you think they can set a different target?
Making really good money. I faced my quote unquote dragon of a season and I found myself miserable. If you have a solution to someone's problem, you don't offer it, you're doing them a disservice. The good thing about connection is you can learn how to do it. There's tons of resources to do it. Goodbyes aren't throwaway moments. So like you never know when the last time you're gonna say goodbye to somebody. And then the last one, which is what took me from like middle of the pack to number one.
Welcome to Modern Alchemy. Today we have a very exciting guest. We have Jeremy Trinchere here. Jeremy, there's so many facets to him. He's a sales and performance coach, an artist, and a host of the J Curve podcast, which explores all things evolution, wealth creation, leadership, spirituality, consciousness, business, and healing. And he's an overall student of life. Jeremy has started multiple companies and coached over 100 people in leadership and business. He also used to work with Dean Graziosi and Tony Robbins and was Tony Robbins' #1 closer. It's incredible.
Yeah.
Big deal.
Yeah, here we go.
Fun times.
Welcome to the show, Jeremy.
I'm happy to be here. Thanks for having me.
We're so happy to have you.
I didn't know that. That's amazing. I mean, I loved your highlights just from reading what I did know, but that's incredible. Were you working on the coaching side, or is that where you're
On their business development side.
Wow.
Yeah. So we bring in people to help start their businesses and continue to grow their businesses. So it was a lot of fun. Got to learn from the best. Yeah.
Literally the best.
Yeah.
Like Dean Graziosi is like the OG. Like I remember hearing him on the radio and seeing infomercials. He used to do like real estate, teaching people how to do real estate. And then Tony Robbins is basically the father of modern personal development. That's incredible.
Absolutely. Dean's the OG infomercial guy. So that was a lot of
Jeremy's
fun.
very special.
Yeah.
That's why he's here.
Oh my God.
Thank you.
We only
I'll
want
receive
special
that. I receive.
So to loosen things up, we like to ask a weird question.
Okay.
And usually I go to Reddit for them. So this was a good one.
Oh, here we go. Buckle up.
Okay. Would you rather have, it's a would you rather. Would you rather have hands for feet and feet for hands, or only feet?
Feet and feet. So you swap them, or you're all feet, essentially.
I swap them for sure. Because like I could be like, monkeys have like the hands for feet type of situation. At least I can grapple things.
You'd be upside down all the time if you were walking.
Yeah.
It's better than having 2 feet or 4 feet.
Yeah, then because you wouldn't have any opposable thumbs. That's the smart choice for sure.
Yeah, and I guess
Yeah.
we have knees, unlike dogs.
Yeah.
Dogs don't have knees, so they can be on all fours. It's easier.
Oh yeah.
Their joints are lower.
I've never thought of that. That's so strange.
Yeah. Okay. I think
This is
I
the type
agree.
of high level stuff you're gonna get today. By the way,
This is great. We're off to a hot start.
I love these
good
questions
stuff.
though, honestly, because it does kind of help the flow though, because then you kind of just shake it up, and then now it's like, okay, cool, we're having fun already.
And it's interesting to hear how people think, because Joe usually thinks very different. He always asks very good questions and those weird questions.
I'm like, because I want like specifiers.
Yeah.
What's funny though is because I love questions like that, and I used to date this girl who would answer them in like an out of the box way, which I was always like irritated by, but it was also kind of cool because I'm like, no, you can't do that. She's like, well, technically you can. I'd be like, so yeah. Anyway, that's a complete side note. We're 100% going to cut that.
Cut that part. And we all know that Christina is the queen of the silly, weird questions. That's a fact.
Thank you so much.
Fun fact. Did you know that they're now equating like life longevity to hand strength, like gripping strength?
Really?
So the stronger your grip, the longer you live, allegedly.
I do grip strength exercises every week.
Okay. You got like the little stress thing.
No, I just carry super heavy kettlebells.
Okay. Farmers
Sometimes
carries?
I carry one up. Yeah, farmer carries. Sometimes one's up, one's down. Sometimes it's racked. It's in the air.
Okay.
Also, I do a lot of barbell work. I feel like that has to help the grip strength.
For
right?
sure. Especially if
Like
you're
deadlifting?
deadlifting
Yeah.
without straps. Yeah.
Oh my God, never
Do you
use
do
straps. Only
over under, or do you do over?
Oh, I do like a hook grip, but I've been trying to switch my hook
Yeah,
grip.
I switch it on
between
every
sets.
rep. Yeah.
Yeah, switch on every rep. That's
You know what would be sick,
Rep?
actually?
I do sets.
I'm sorry, set.
Sets. Yeah. Yeah, it's
I
like,
was like, what?
You're
Rep,
swapping every
set.
single rep.
So tiring.
it would be cool to get a grip strength thing here just to see everyone's.
And I win.
We create like a scale.
You would win, probably.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
So sweet. Honestly, the weight of my heart is like to let me know how athletic I am.
Yeah.
Noted. Look at that grip strength on that phone.
Yeah.
How do you not break it?
Oh my God, I did. I broke the camera.
Is that with your face?
I broke the
You
camera.
just held it too hard.
Watch out, boys.
Oh God,
We're gonna cut
that is
that.
where my brain went originally. So I'm glad you said it.
So work on your grip strength.
Yeah.
If you take anything away from this podcast, work on your grip strength.
And thanks for coming. We
Yeah,
gotta go.
Yeah.
That's a wrap.
Oh man, I'm excited though.
Okay.
We were just talking about Tupac before this. I'm Team Pac over Biggie. You know, that's a wrap. I think we're all
That's
in
a wrap.
agreement
I
on
feel
that.
like a lot of people I grew up with were Team Tupac. Actually,
Yeah.
this is controversial though. As a Team Tupac person, I feel like Biggie's music actually stood the test of time, where Tupac's music is a little. I appreciate the nostalgia, but I'm not like bumping.
Well, they're
like,
only playing Dear Mama and All Eyes on Me.
It
It's
changes.
Like, and
changes. That's
Fucking-
a jam though.
That's a good one.
It's just so old now.
Ambition as a Rider gets some play, you know.
Ooh.
Like I like when he's talking dirty.
Talking
Well,
like take money. That song.
Get money?
That's like the song where he's basically dissing Biggie.
Oh yeah.
yeah.
Fuck your bitch in the clicky clank.
Oh yeah.
Well, I like Pac just because he tells a story. He's a storyteller. You know,
He's a poet.
he's a poet, 100%, and that's how I write too. So, yeah, Pac is instilled in me through my writing and rapping.
I love it.
Yeah.
And you're rapping?
Oh yeah.
Okay, can't wait to hear more about that. Offline for sure. You're a rapper?
Yeah, I'm coming out. I've been suppressing it my whole life. That's why I put artists in there.
Wait, seriously?
Yeah.
I thought you were just messing with me right now.
No, not at all.
Oh my God, I love it.
Yeah.
Well, I
Yeah.
can't wait. Jeremy, I wanted to ask you some questions because I know you have a very interesting life. I met Jeremy a year ago and I've learned so much about him, and he's done so many things, such as living in a van and picking up and leaving Chicago to move somewhere else. He has obviously studied under incredible people. And through all of this, I know it's all just been a journey. And when we think about these journeys, a lot of times there are these mirror moments. And these are these turning points of self-reflection and oftentimes self-resilience. So I just wanted to know if you could share with everyone how you got here, what those mirror moments have been for you, kind of what the journey's been looking like.
Oof, let's go. Loaded question. Love that. And I love the mirror moments. That's an expression I've coined over the past couple of years. Like you said, it's a moment of self-reflection. It's a deep, radical honesty when you look at yourself in the mirror. And oftentimes we're going to have a lot of mirror moments in our life. And, you know, my whole life up until, well, I don't want to say up until, I've had challenges of, you know, chasing validation, chasing likes, you know, thinking that success was about, you know, being the champion or closing the best deal, having the most attractive girl. And I got to this point about 6 years ago where I looked in the mirror and I was like, I do not like the person I'm seeing right now. You know, what happened to that man, that boy that was just so full of passion and just so full of life? Like, is this all there is? Like, what's next? And I knew that something had to change. So I found myself researching philosophy, Eastern traditions, Taoism, quantum physics, going to church, seeking all sorts of ways for healing and transformation. And then I noticed that, you know, nothing was really changing. You know, I would take 3 steps forward, then I'd take 2 steps back, 3 steps forward, 2 steps back, and sometimes 5 steps back. And I'm like, what the heck is going on? And I realized that there was a part of me I wasn't proud of or happy with, and it was a darkness, like the shadow. And the reality is we all have a darkness, and that's okay. And for so long I was making it wrong, I was running from it, and this darkness like wants to pull you down, right? Wants to make you feel unworthy, wants to make you not recognize your potential and see your potential and step into that calling. And so I realized that it's not going anywhere. There's no light without dark, and it's going to be a part of you and a part of me. So I've learned, especially over the past year, that to dance with that darkness. And the goal is you can't snuff it out, right? The way I look at it is, so many people believe in God, believe in the ultimate goodness, the forces of the universe, right? And the truth is, like I said before, there's no light without dark. So if you believe in that, you have to believe in the converse of that. You have to believe in the enemy, in the devil, in whatever you want to call it. And the goal is to be a worthy opponent for that person, right? Like every hero story has a villain, and to smile at them, to dance with them, to fight this person and wrestle with them. And that's what I've learned over the past 6 years, more so in the past year. It's been a crazy, choppy year, as I like to say. And over the course of this time, I've developed frameworks that has helped me get through these tough times, to face that shadow, to learn to embrace it. There's a quote that I love. If you're a fan of Gladiator or Marcus Aurelius, you've probably heard this, and it's death smiles at us all. All a man can do is smile back. And it's the same thing with the darkness. We just gotta smile, wave. I see you. You ain't getting a hold of me. You ain't dragging me down anymore. So I've learned to love it and learned to live with it, and it hasn't been easy, right?
Yeah, that's kind of like the ego. When you try to suppress the ego completely, it's never going to work. So it's just not going to go away. So instead of working against it, working with it just makes everything easier. Like, I know you're going to be here. I know I have to deal with you, but like, how do I best deal with you in a way that now works for me, not against me? It's incredible.
Right. Yeah. Well said.
How do you integrate that? It's like, the takeaway for me is, we all hope to strive to be beings of light, but the harder you fight to be light, the harder the darkness needs to fight to be heard. So how do you integrate that?
Yeah, it's a good question. I think the first step is acknowledging it, that it's there, right? And part of what I teach is intentional expression. So what does that mean? That can mean a number of different things. Making space to scream, to laugh, to cry, to transmute that energy. And for me, whenever I have some sort of shadow moment or dark night, that's a perfect opportunity for me to write, to create. And I took a songwriting class about a month ago, and I've been writing songs my whole life, but I wanted to hear from an expert how to do that, like the process of it. And it was funny because I became like a spectacle during, like, wait, how do you write so much? And I'm like, dude, if you've seen the movie School of Rock, great movie, right?
So good.
So good.
So good.
There's a scene where they're talking about, let's make a rock song. He's like, who's
Yeah.
pissed off?
Yeah.
Now's the time to make a rock song. And that's huge. And so that's what I was telling him. I'm like, when you have a strong emotion, that's the perfect time to create and transmute that energy. So
yeah, Rick Rubin would tell you to stay with it as long as possible.
Yeah, love Rick Rubin. When he talks about creation in the artist way, it's really beautiful. I finished his book probably a month or two ago.
Oh yeah, I did too.
The Creative Actor, is that what it's called? Yeah,
Creative Inc., I think.
The Creative Act. Creativity Inc. is the guy from Pixar.
No. Oh, I do have that book too. No, you are right with the name though.
Yeah. So to answer your questions, finding ways to intentionally express yourself and acknowledging it and not making it wrong. That's what I would say.
I had a period of my life, probably for a decade, where my mindset was I don't have time to feel bad because it's unproductive. Because working through the pain is kind of when you finally open up the floodgates, kind of does take some time, maybe, or I didn't make the time and have the patience. And it turned into this huge emotional crescendo, kind of like you're saying. You had this year that was maybe like had a lot of that work compromised of like that integration phase. You realized you had to do it. It sucks when you're doing it, but then when you get on the other side, like I'm so much happier, you know. And one thing that I really took away is, so did you reach this apex where you're thinking, once I get all this money, then I'll be happy. Once I get all this status, this hot girl, this, like that's like a mirror of my situation. I was engaged to this like pretty young girl. I was making a ton of money, and I was just sitting like staring out the window, like miserable every morning. Like I thought this was it. Do you think people need to seek the external to come to that revelation of, wow, this isn't it? Or do you think they can set a different target and avoid that altogether?
I love that you're bringing this up, because at the end of the day, it's internal, right? And I've faced something very similar recently, making really good money. I faced my quote unquote dragon of a season, and I found myself miserable. It's the cliche thing. It's like the celebrity or the athlete who wins the World Series or wins the gold at the Olympics, and he's like, now what? You know, I'm still not happy. It's because ultimately you're looking to fulfill something within. And at the end of the day, Will Smith was just talking about this. I think he was on like, I don't know, like Jay Shetty, or I can't remember what show he's on, or like School of Greatness. But he was talking about at the end of the day, like you're just chasing you. It's a feeling that you have within yourself, and meeting you and fulfilling something within you. And because you can have all the money in the world and still be unhappy, right? You can have the attractive girl, you can have the good job, you can have the big deal. But if you're not fulfilling something, loving yourself, loving oneself, meeting yourself where you're at, you're just going to be chasing that high through external things the rest of your life. And it's interesting when I think everyone gets to have a moment like that, right? Where it's like, I thought this is everything. Right. And so recently I went through that, as I was saying, and I'm like, what the heck is going on? Like I fell off the wagon, started drinking a bunch, doing things I wouldn't, eating badly. And I was like, what am I doing? Like I've been so dialed in for the last 6 months, and why did I fall off the wagon so hard? And like I said, I faced this dragon. I faced a moment where I don't want to necessarily get in. It doesn't really make a difference to get into the whole story right now, but like I faced this moment and I overcame it, and it was beautiful in a very public way. And then I fell off the wagon. And then a friend of mine, I had this revelation that it was that cliche moment of hitting the apex and then falling down. And a friend of mine, we're talking, and we're kind of dissecting this. And he's like, dude, you're just changing in seasons right now. And that's okay. You're in winter now, and we can't make the seasons wrong. Every season has the same amount of value. And the winter season, what's the worst thing you could do in winter? Literally and figuratively.
Hibernate.
Well, hibernate, but it's indulge, distract yourself.
Oh.
And so
I was thinking like a bear.
Yeah.
Well, it's like when you need to buckle up and lock in, because it's when it gets a lot tougher. It's like the climbing of the mountain starts again, even though you thought you're already at the top.
Right. So like that's what I was doing. I was indulging, finding distractions, and then fortunately I have a lot of good brothers in my life, and they're like, dude, hey, just be grateful it's only a couple weeks. Some people's winters of distraction last for months, years even.
Oh yeah, you see this a lot when people get out of breakups. Actually,
Yeah.
I would say men. I feel like men really like to get distracted after a breakup.
Yeah. You're not great at the old emotional processing. At least I think in typical men are.
As a collective.
So you're just like, I'm going to play video games for 10 hours a day. And that's my new normal.
I like this correlation of season with winter. Okay.
Yeah.
This
So
is really good.
So the converse of that, right, is to lock the F in, like you were talking about. You know, hunker down like you're in Russia, like Rocky IV in Russia. Just like find a cabin and just get jacked. You know, that's a good thing you could do.
Oh
Focus
yeah,
on
like
yourself.
during COVID, people did one or the other.
right.
I got jacked.
Yeah, I did P90X, and all my friends were like wasted constantly.
Yeah, I had abs.
Like
I
wine
was
drunk
whoa.
at home.
I bought a van and effed off in COVID, and that was great.
Jeremy lived in a van.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
I'd love to kind of understand what the impetus of there was and what that journey was like in terms of your discovery process.
That was the best time of my life up until, so far. It's been great. Freedom's a huge value of mine. So that whole year I was just free. I was living on farms, You know, like at that point I was a raw vegan. I was like 95% raw vegan. So like I was living on farms and eating off of fruit trees. Like that was my way of living. Yeah, we go out to lunch and I just pick cherries. And so ultimately I ended an engagement of over 9 years, close to 10 years. And at this point I had just discovered, I was about a year into my self-discovery journey, intentional self-discovery of research and wanting to leave the world better than often I found it. And I started researching. I had a couple friends of mine that had done similar things. One on Facebook Marketplace, found a van in Salt Lake, flew out there, threw the cash down, drove it back, and then I was gone in a month later. So 2 months after a breakup, I'm in a van traveling west, just living. It was incredible. National parks, the people, and I'm a natural like extrovert, so it's pretty easy for me to connect with travelers as well. And wound up working on a couple farms, a couple vineyards, and it was the best experience of my life. Just complete and utter freedom. And I wish that everyone can experience that level of freedom at some point in their life, because you'll learn a lot about yourself.
Yeah.
And you'll enjoy it. You know, I don't think we're meant to be locked down 9 to 5 every single day. Like there needs to be some sort of, we're free, or we're all free at heart. So to get out and experience something like that, I would encourage anyone to do.
Yeah. And bring the adventure in.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
How many people don't have adventure in their life?
Right.
I was talking to this guy at the gym the other day. He said he got into a motorcycle accident. And I was like, what are you doing to celebrate? Because he didn't break any bones. He's actually like relatively okay. And it was an extreme accident. He has all these stitches down. I was like, he should have died. And he was like, what? And I was like, you should celebrate. Like, even, I'm like, in my head, I'm like, even go get a froyo. I don't know. Go do something,
Yeah,
you
just
know?
Market.
Buy a couple
Something.
lottery tickets.
Yeah. You mentioned you've been developing 2 major frameworks over the years. One with focus on belief and habit,
Yeah.
Towards change, and then the other with sales. I'd love to hear like how all of this has kind of connected you into this area where you're working on something sounds pretty big and exciting.
Yeah. So the Cognition code is something that I came up with, and this was a big one. I was preparing a TED talk for a friend of mine's event, TED style talk, right? And so it's had many iterations, but the ultimate goal was, how do we actually change ourselves, right? There was someone once told me, never try to change somebody else. Think of how hard it is to change ourselves. And that one landed really hard with me.
Yeah.
How often we try to change a partner, for example, maybe whether subconsciously or consciously, or our parents, right?
Oh my God. Yeah.
So
I think we can all, I think anybody with parents can relate to that,
Yeah.
you know?
You just broke my brain, dude. But yeah, that's huge.
yeah. So I was like, okay, let's start with me, right? How do I influence myself? How do I persuade myself to change? So it's a 3-step process. I'll try to go really high level, and this is real gold. So write this stuff down, everybody. So the first step is we need the emotional buy-in, right? Any step in, we're thinking about it like a sales process. We have to sell ourselves to change. We have to influence ourselves to change. So the first step is what I call the emotional buy-in, and it's two basic questions to ask yourself, right? The first question is, we got to get into the pain, right? We need to know where we don't want to go, right? So the question to ask yourself is, what is at stake if I do not change my behavior? What is at stake? And now you can have fun with it, or you can get super serious with it, right? Having fun with it would be an example like, if I don't change my behavior, then I got to donate to the opposition, or I'm going to vote publicly for the other political party and tell everybody. Like an example of a friend of mine that when we were doing this exercise, he was like, if I don't do X, I got to read Kamala Harris's book and then go on Instagram Live and tell everyone why I loved it. And he's very conservative.
Clearly.
So that's an example of having fun with this type of question.
Kind of reminds me of when you lose in a
Fantasy football.
Thank you so much.
Yes.
I lost the word.
Yes,
When
exactly.
fantasy football, yeah, your task.
Perfect example. And then you can get serious with it, right? Like if I don't change my behavior, I don't stop smoking, if I don't do XYZ, if I don't change my health habits, I won't be able to walk my daughter down the aisle, right? That's a serious way of looking at this. And you got to get real, you write it down, send it to somebody. What's at stake? Okay.
Accountability buddy.
Exactly. And then part 2 of the emotional buy-in is the opposite, right? Getting into vision. How are other areas of my life affected by this new behavior? That's pretty self-explanatory, right? You could look at, family, relationships, finances, every area of your life, mental, physical, emotional, spiritual, and you get really detailed with it. How are all these areas affected by my new behavior? Okay. So that's step 1 of the cognition code. Step 2 is physical action, right? Inertia, right? An object in motion tends to stay in motion. And the story I like to give people for the inertia side of movement is, like, for example, thinking back to when you're a kid and you're on the couch and a parent's like, hey, get in here and do the dishes. Do you want to get up and do the dishes? Not at all. And if you do, you're like laboring to get up, right? Because you're at rest. You don't want to move, right? So we got to move towards it. And so there's two types of pieces to the physical action part that I like to share with people. One is creating a when-then statement. Okay. So for example, let's just say you want to improve your health habits, or you want to start running in the morning. When my feet hit the ground, then I put on my running shoes, right? You create when-then statements to help facilitate whatever your change is. Another example is like, hey, I want to show up better for my wife and kids when I get home. I'm in business mind. I want to show up better for them. So when I pull up into the driveway, then I take 5 minutes to transition, to breathe, to shift out of business mode, to get into family mode. I have that transition time. So when, then, okay? The second piece to physical action is an optimized environment. You need to optimize your environment, right? Make it easy, like reducing friction. So the classic example for working out is I'll lay out my things the night before. If I want to eat healthier, I get all the shit out of my fridge that doesn't belong in there, right? So an optimized environment, okay? And now this last piece is something that I've coined, and I'm working on trademarking it. Please, listeners, I love you.
Do you want to call it like Pig Latin? Schmack?
Rhymes with.
Yeah, do a rhymes with.
So this one is the key. So we have the emotional buy-in, we have the physical, and now we need the mental. Okay. And it's what I call aligned affirmations. All right. Now, we've all heard of affirmations, whether you believe in them or not. Have you all practiced affirmations before?
Yes.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay. Do you ever feel like you were like lying to yourself?
Yeah, your bullshit meter goes off. You're like, that's not true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, because you're not in a theta brain state to actually absorb what's happening.
Right. It's like you're lying to
What you're
yourself.
saying.
It's like, I am a strong man. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's like Mickey Mouse in the mirror. Like, I have a deep voice. You know, that's misaligned.
Yeah.
Right. So the key is it needs to be true in the moment. You need to be doing the thing in the moment for it to work. All right. So let me give you an example. So the example that I gave, this is at the time, but I was working on stretching. I wanted to be, that's something I wanted to instill in me, because I know the value of stretching and being limber. So an example would be, so I do my emotional work, I do the physical work, I actually do it. Okay. So the framework is you need to say 3 true statements in a row, and then the belief you want to adopt. Okay. So this is like high level, like hypnosis shit. Okay. So this is an example. You know what? Why don't I do something right now? All right. So I am speaking to Joe and Christina. I am talking about aligned affirmations. I hear the sound of my voice. I speak confidently and powerfully. That would be an example of an aligned affirmation. Does that make sense?
I love that.
Yeah.
You're essentially I do this practice. I call it like gratitude jumping, where I say 3 things that I'm grateful for that are true, and then I'll add the not true thing that I want to be grateful for, because you can like hop the frequency. So you're like hopping the truth with the thing that you want to be true, but you're already in a state of truth or belief.
See, you're already on it. So the way the brain works, it wants to latch onto things that are true, that make sense.
Yeah.
So I am speaking to Joe and Christina. True. I hear the sound of my voice. True. I'm speaking about aligned affirmations. True. I speak confidently and powerfully. So my brain's gonna be like, okay, that's true. So what that's doing, it's creating new neural networks.
It's like leading the horse to water.
Right.
It's amazing. You open the door, and then before the conscious mind or the ego can close it, you can get those things in. You can slip one in.
Exactly.
Yeah. I mean, that's genius, bro. That's really good. Yeah.
So the key now is you got to do it over and over and over again.
Yeah.
It's not going to happen overnight.
Yeah.
So, that's an example of the cognition code that I've built, and I'm working on, like I said, trademarking that. And so at the end of the day, it's all about creating that pathway. How am I going to create that pathway, and how am I going to continue to reinforce that? Right. So again, like the key is it has to be true in the moment. You have to be doing the thing. Right. So if you're in the gym, I hear the sound of my music. I feel my muscles contracting. Right. I'm
really hot.
I'm sweating. And it doesn't necessarily have to be I am statements. It could be I notice, I hear, I feel.
Yeah.
And then add whatever it is. I'm a strong and powerful human.
I'm so strong.
Yeah.
Dude, I'm obsessed with that idea, because I feel like a lot of people, when they get into this type of work, affirmations are usually the entry point for a lot of folks, like doing these affirmations. But I look at law of attraction or anything with neurology, like cooking eggs. You have different preferences. Like affirmations work for some, visualization work for others.
Right.
But ultimately, at a neurological brain science level, that's the best way to actually get something into your subconscious mind. And what I love you said is you're creating these new neural pathways. So you're operating in the part of your brain that is in full belief of truth. And then you kind of get one into the door past the gatekeeper, but it's putting it in that same neural pathway. It's not like, oh shit, let me shift it over here. It's going, I'm carving this. Okay, let me get another one on that one. And then by the time you've done that a week, 2 weeks in a row, you literally believe it at that point. And then when you believe it, it becomes true.
Yep. Yeah, nailed it.
That's incredible. I'd like goosies.
Yeah, so that's
Joe, do you have a new crush?
Dude, I mean, you're very well spoken. I mean, handsome. Shit. No, I'm just kidding. But no, I mean, I'm really absorbing this. There's been a lot of awesome aha moments.
So nice.
When you were incorporating this work into your consulting and your coaching, is there a big focus on this internal development as the forefront, or an integration of working as someone who's going to help people gain profit, or marketing, or any of those types of modalities?
I mean, especially as it applies to business and sales or whatever you're doing in your life, the inner game is so important. There's no one without the other. And for sales specifically, a lot of it's mindset, it's confidence, it's belief. And, part of my method that I teach it's called the CBY method. So I'm going to touch on that. It's a good question. C stands for connect. So connect. So I would teach you ways how to connect with people quickly, right? And truly, right? So diving deep, using the right types of questions, body language, breathing patterns, just to really dive deep with this person and drop in, because you never know if this is the only conversation that you're going to have, right? But the key is the belief. That's the B. And so if you can imagine a Venn diagram, okay, I actually came up with this when I was working with Tony and Dean. And if you imagine a Venn diagram, I call it the 3 pillars of belief. All right. So there's belief in yourself. That should go without saying, right? You got to have belief in yourself. You got to believe that you could do it. You have confidence in yourself. So we would work on that. And then there's the belief in the product or service, the offering. Okay. This applies to if I'm selling someone else's stuff or my own. Like if you don't believe in it, you're not going to sell very much. Right.
No. Like when all these people I knew got jobs selling printers, I was like, oh.
Yeah. I hear they have a great sales training program, which is actually
Mifflin?
true. Yeah.
Jim. So those two came pretty easy when you're selling for the best coach in the world, right? Belief in yourself, belief in the service. And then the last one, which is what took me from like middle of the pack to number one, was the belief that the person on the other side of the call, the conversation, the table, that they're going to be successful with your offering, right? Belief in yourself, belief in the offering, and the belief in the other person that they're going to be successful, like deep down convicted. And if you imagine that Venn diagram, the middle, that's what I would call the aligned offering.
Ooh.
Yeah. So
yeah, because they're gonna now believe in you, and they're gonna buy from you again potentially.
yeah.
How do you cultivate that belief in a prospect? I think that because the first two I'm like, yes, that makes total sense. The last one makes huge sense, but in my mind, it's almost like, and this is like an ego thing, I automatically assume my intelligence is higher than most people and that they're going to fail at things, or there's a lower likelihood of people being wildly successful just because historically people don't try as hard, and average people, right? So how do you create that mindset of I'm offering this thing that's going to change this person's life, help them be very successful, either or, and then like fully believe that with conviction, I guess?
It's a good question. That's where the why comes in, right? So the why stands for you, be yourself, right? And who are you that's leading that call, right? You're an expert. You're a leader. The way I look at it is like you're the doctor. They're in the doctor's office. And what's a doctor going to do, right? They're going to ask questions. They're going to understand what's going on with that person, and they're going to diagnose. And the reality is, if what I have is not for them, I'm going to tell them, and I'm going to refer them to someone else. That's kind of how referrals and specialists work with doctors. It's the same thing. So through the connection phase, I'm going to find out if this person, can I help this person? Because if I can't, I'm not going to offer them. Right. So if I believe in that person, I'm like, all right, this guy's a real deal. This gal's a real deal. She's ready. She's hungry. She wants to actually make an impact and serve at a high capacity. Then I'm going to offer it to him. But at the end of the day, it's you. You have to tap in and connect, right? And understand, is this something that could provide value to this person, and does this person have it in them? Because I know for me, in my work, I don't want to work with someone that's going to quit or that's going to half-ass it or isn't ready. Right now, I mean, the ready part's interesting. There's always a degree of nervousness when you're starting something new or when you're investing in yourself. So nerves are okay, but I could pick up on that. I have a good sense on reading people, I would say.
What's interesting and if there's anyone who's listening that's gone out and started something or experienced this, in the beginning, you think, or me, this is my personal journey. Like I was open to just selling to make money, but I actually found out when I worked with people that I probably knew weren't a good fit. It actually made me worse at doing the job. And it like actually detracted from my ability then to sell in the future. So especially with coaching, I've had clients where they kind of fell off and I was a little iffy about them, maybe in the beginning when I was a little hungrier, and it actually turned me off to it for a while because I was like, the clients were bad, but it was like they just weren't ready and I kind of pushed too hard maybe. And so it is so important and I'm happy that there's this like moral compass in that, because it's not all about money, because it actually winds up hurting you more when you work with someone that you kind of knew might not be a good fit in the long run.
Right. Wholeheartedly agree. And, something that was instilled in us is that sales is a service, right? And you guys both seem like, service-minded people, want to leave an impact. And I love that. So it's like, if you have a solution to someone's problem or someone's gaps and you don't offer it, you're doing them a disservice. Right now, the key is being able to articulate and share it and not be like, sleazy about it, of course, right? Is to articulate and share from a heart-centered space. Like, listen, I know I can help you, right? This is what I could do for you. And that's one of the biggest problems I've seen and just in the healing and leadership space is that we have so many good people out there that genuinely want to help. And they're going all in on themselves, and they have these businesses, and they They want to leave the world off better than how they found it. And they just have challenges articulating what they do. You know, they don't know how to present themselves, unfortunately. So like, that's ultimately what I'm trying to do, is to help heal, help transform. And through working with me, I can help you do that.
Especially people in those spaces, they're not often good with business because they're so good at what they do.
Right.
So the business part often, from my experience of the people I worked with, becomes a bit of an enigma. They need coaches, they need leaders, they need a Sherpa to guide them and say, like, here's how to do it, here's not how to do it. So you don't waste your time and you can show up at your best. It's like, I to your point, like sometimes I'm like, oh, I'm so smart, I know everything, okay, but I don't know what I don't know, and that would be the exact same thing here. People don't know what they don't know, and so once they can experience how I've seen how you operate and how like you interact with people, and it really is something really special. And for someone who doesn't have that naturally to learn from you, I think there'd just be like massive opportunity for growth for their business, because you're so genuine in everything that you do, and it bleeds out of you in a way where I think you disarm people immediately. And so that's really wonderful. It's like, oh, this guy's not trying to take me for a ride. He isn't necessarily even trying to get anything out of me. He's just interacting with me because you can tell he wants to be here. And so the belief is already there. It's like, I imagine that everyone just trusts you immediately.
Mm-hmm. Thank you.
It's like the Jeremy praise show now.
I will receive again. Keep it coming. I'm kidding.
Yeah. Actually, my girlfriends and I had this joke when we'd be out and guys would give us compliments. Be like, no, stop.
I love that.
Please keep going.
Keep going. Okay, I do have one more question.
No, but and that's true. You know, I consider myself a professional. I always joke around with a professional space holder, right? And so once we could get over that hurdle and understand, the good thing about connection is you can learn how to do it. There's tons of resources to do it, and so it's a skill, and it's something that's a trait that can be acquired, which is good.
So we actually had a guest on. His name is Dr. James Jernigan, and he said something that was super profound, and I think about it a lot now. So each one of us has an energetic signature that when we walk into a room, it kind of commingles with the other energies. And so when you come in a room, I feel like very like comfortable. I feel like you're understanding me. And that's probably just something that is a big kinship to your ability to create this professional space holder. But like when you're holding space in a room, people probably just feel comfortable and understood. Is that an experience that you've noticed in general?
I would say it's something that I've prided myself on, is that I can hold. Yeah, it's super interesting. I've been really diving deep into this, my space holding, I guess. And that's what's come through is I like to, you know, oftentimes when you look back at your life, at my life, one's life, things that you might not have gotten as a child, you tend to give as an adult. And I'm not saying my parents didn't do that. Okay. But
we all want to be loved in certain ways. And
right.
Sometimes people just don't know how to do that for us.
Right.
It's okay. I think that's natural in any relationship.
Yeah. And someone once told me, I don't know why this just came through, but it wants to come out, is that goodbyes aren't throwaway moments. So like, you never know when the last time you're going to say goodbye to somebody. So don't take that for granted. Don't like baby burp someone. Like get in there, give them a good hug, you know, tell them you love them. And so something that I noticed in myself when I began studying like love languages and all that, is mine are words and touch. Right. And so I made it a point throughout, since I realized that, was that I'm going to say I love you to my parents every time I see them. And now it's become a thing where now we all say we love each other. I'm like, I don't remember ever hearing that, candidly speaking. And give everyone a big old hug, you know? And I think maybe at times as a man that could be looked at as like weakness or whatever. And, you know, it's okay. We could love how we want to love and share how we want to be loved too. And so, yeah. So to your space holder question, like, I think I've picked up on the fact that I don't know. I mean, I feel like I didn't get a lot of that, and how I remember being raised is more like Jeremy's okay, he's got this, and at no fault to my upbringing, but having that, as I said, the kind of a callback, the intentional way of expression was something I've tried to cultivate in later years and started doing that more. And so, yeah, I guess the space holding is something that I just enjoy doing, and I've gotten good feedback, I guess.
Yeah, you have great energy, dude. So it's
Thank
very
you.
cool.
As you've been moving through your career as a student of life, what opportunities for growth in the leadership and transformation spaces have you seen?
Yeah, good question. I think integrity is a premium, and I think it's missing in a lot of areas. People saying one thing, doing another, and it's a problem because
Like
there
a
are
true integrity is what you're saying, right?
yeah, it's a problem, and I think it's a huge opportunity for growth. Is to get real people out there who are doing the work, who are embodying their philosophy. There's a great quote, Epictetus: "Don't explain your philosophy, embody it." Right, and there's another one, another bar for you is preach the gospel always. When necessary, use words.
Don't talk about it, be about it.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
To bring it to the streets.
What?
What? So,
I love it.
yeah. So I think embodiment's a big one. Embodiment's a big one. Doing what you say, saying what you mean, speaking truth, and walking it out. And because there are a lot of great coaches out there that aren't necessarily doing well because of what I just stated. They just don't really know how to. They don't know how to market or properly share their story. And then you got coaches who are millionaires who are snake oil, and they're just so fake. And I've been around a lot of them, unfortunately.
I bet.
And it's really sad to see like people getting fleeced, and it's kind of putting a bad name for everyone else out there that are actually genuine and trying to help. And maybe it starts out that way, and then they just turn that way. You know what I mean? So I don't know. I don't know them that personally, but I've noticed specifically just a lack of integrity. It's kind of a bummer.
When ego takes over.
Elliot Army.
What's that?
Andy Elliott, you know that guy with like
Yeah.
the shaved head and he's
Yeah.
jacked and he wears like his own shirt.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That's like one of those guys that I'm like, I don't know if this is legit. It's mixed reviews.
Like Uncle Baby Billy.
From
Do you know what I'm talking about?
No.
Righteous
Righteous
Gemstones.
Gemstones.
I gotta watch that.
It's very good.
Yeah, I've heard really good things, and I go to church and stuff, so I'd
very
probably
funny.
love it.
So as someone who is been in sales and also has a high level of integrity, I think there's a lot of people, especially in the more altruistic healing spaces, there can be a bad connotation for sales, right? Like when I was in college, I actually sold used cars, and that level of sales, even from my purview doing it, has like this grimy level. And not to say all salespeople in car sales are grimy, but a lot of people think that sales people can be the specific persona. It's like that used car personality. And so a lot of healers or people that are trying to do good get turned off from the art of selling. So how do you help people overcome that? What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, it kind of goes back to what I was sharing earlier about sales as a service, right? It's the SaaS model, a different SaaS model, right? How do I step into service and knowing that if I don't offer this to this person, I'm doing them a disservice. Like ultimately you got to get in touch with your why. Why are you doing it? Like what's the ultimate goal? What do you want? And what is your why? And if that's not clear, if it's ego based, like we used to do this exercise called 7 levels deep. It's basically you just ask yourself why over and over and over again until you really get to the root.
Like a little kid.
Yeah.
Why?
Right. So why do you want to do this? And you have to be really crystal clear on that. Is it aligned with your values? Doing some values exercises and values work, and just knowing that if your ultimate why is to impact the world at a high capacity, sales is a necessary part of it, whether you like it or not. And if you're not quote unquote selling or serving, you're dimming your own light. So how do we, it takes time. And that's why I said that a lot of sales is a mindset. And some people just cringe at the word sales, like, ugh. And just understanding that it's a service. It really is. And connecting to your why. So connect to your why. What are your values? And is it kind of going at that 3 pillars of belief? Do you believe in what you're doing? Do you believe that they're going to be successful in what they're doing? And do you believe in yourself? Do you believe that you can deliver? And if we don't have that, then maybe you might have to check yourself. Should I be doing this in the first place? Should I even be selling? Should I even be trying to serve in this capacity? It's really interesting. I was talking to a friend of mine. He does pretty well. He's a financial guy, and he wanted to be a coach, right? And another close person in my life wanted to be a coach as well. He loved the fact that I worked with Tony Robbins. He knows that I'm in the personal development, the speaking space, and he's like, I want to be like you, right? I want to help people at this capacity. And candidly speaking, with all the love in the world, it's not going to happen. And I love them. Okay. The way I put it, the metaphor I use is like, if you look at the Rolling Stones, not everyone could be Mick Jagger. And that's okay. That's okay. Look at Tony Robbins. He's got a staff of thousands of people. He's got the security guy. He's got the camera guy. He's got the sub coaches. He's got the finance guy. He's got he's got the host. He's got the MC. He's got the music guy. All these people, I'm sure, want to impact the world. Otherwise, they wouldn't be there. Bands need drummers too. Drummers are in the background. They're doing the numbers. They're keeping everybody on beat. You don't have to be the front man. You could still make a huge difference.
And a lot of times the drummers don't want to be the front man.
They don't. One of my buddies is a drummer. He's like, hell no. I don't want the mic. Yeah. I don't want to be in front. I want to hide back here.
Right.
But they're still creating music. They're still creating something beautiful. And they're still impacting a lot of people. So for the people out there, go out and try your business. But if something's off, maybe that's not the lane you need to be in. Maybe you could help somebody else do it. And that's okay. Be an intrapreneur, as I've heard that term. So
there's power in numbers too.
Yeah.
You could actually join someone else and make a bigger impact than you may make on your own.
Yeah. And so those two people I suggested, one of them loves like film and movies. I'm like, dude, go like study like a content creation course or something, or videography or something. And you could work with one of these people that's on stage. And the other guy's a numbers guy. Go be the controller or accountant for one of these high level. And I'm not trying to dissuade them, because, I'm just saying, play to the strengths that you have, right? What are you drawn to? And you can still impact people.
Yeah. And this goes back to your principles of being honest in the Venn diagram. Is this fitting into the circle? That person doesn't fit into the circle. So how else can I help them?
Right.
And it wouldn't help them to offer them a thing that they aren't going to be good at.
Right.
So then it doesn't align with any of your pillars. The whole thing comes crashing down.
Right.
And then one of your superpowers is the ability to identify these folks that you can come in and actually do this portion for them, get them in a mindset where they have an offer that's so powerful that they could, but then if they need to defer to you, you're actually able to do their selling for them. Is that accurate?
Do the selling for them?
Yeah, essentially be their like chief revenue officer, chief sales officer.
Right. Yeah. So kind of, I guess there's like 3 types of ways I help people, right? Either I come in, I do call audits and review your calls, and then I would help you out with your presenting yourself, your storytelling, right? Your pitch, for lack of a better way of putting it, right? And then there's kind of like the middle tier offering where I work with you every single week. We dial in your scripting, we refine, you implement my system, I review your calls, and I walk you through it for 12 weeks, right? And then there's the kind of like the fractional CRO where I'm training your team. I am like gutting your sales process, doing a whole audit on the whole system, implementing my system. And then we do that. It's a 3-month minimum. And then we review and refine and optimize from there. So I wouldn't necessarily be doing the closing for you, but I'd be training your people on my system. Yeah.
Are you a fan of mock calls? Or practice calls or whatever?
Role play?
Yeah,
Absolutely.
role play. Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Okay.
So role playing is a part of what I do too.
That's amazing.
Yeah. So, I mean, ideally some people don't like to record their calls or share them for that matter. It's stretchy, right? It's vulnerable sharing that conversation with somebody, but I would encourage you, if you want to be better, you have to record your calls. And you gotta review them. You gotta look at them, no matter how cringe they are.
That's how I feel every time I post a TikTok.
People don't realize how they talk. When I used to be early in my sales career, I had a manager made me record and listen to my calls, and I said 8,000 times. I had no idea though. It was my like.
Yeah, podcasting, we learned a lot about how we speak.
Yeah,
Right.
I used to say like every other word.
I want to acknowledge you, Christina. We made it an hour. We finally brought up TikTok.
Wait, what do you mean?
You love TikTok.
I do love TikTok. Oh, yeah. Oh, because I love TikTok. That's why. That's so funny. Thank you, Jamie.
Yeah. Did that answer your
more
question?
than just TikTok.
100%. Yeah. Great.
Is there anything else you'd like the listeners and watchers to be inspired by or hear?
I would say get out there and create in some capacity. I say often that God's greatest gift is a gift of creation. So if we're not creating in some form of element, we're doing ourselves and God a disservice. That could be baking a cake. That could be creating a business. That could be painting, sketching, music, doing something, create something, give birth to something, and make time for it. And don't, I would say it's a non-negotiable. Make it a non-negotiable to make time to create. That would be my suggestion for the listeners and watchers.
Amazing. Where can people find you? What's your socials and all, website or anything?
Yeah, you can follow me on my social. It's just my name. It's not just my name. It is my name. Jeremy Trinchere. I'll send it over to you if you want to link it.
Yeah, we'll put it in the description.
Yeah.
Thank you for coming, Jeremy.
Yeah, honored to be here.
So inspiring, like all of our conversations. It's just really appreciate you taking the time out too, coming in town. And I know you have a lot of things going on. So thank you so much.
Happy to be here. Great to meet you. Christina, always a pleasure. Thanks for having me. Appreciate it.
Amazing.
Okay, everybody go share this with everybody you know.
Like, comment, subscribe, make 10,000 fake emails, and subscribe and like and comment with those as well. Thank you. We love you.
We didn't ask for much.
We love you.
Bye.